How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the show. I'm Joe Evans. This is your Daily Cup of Joe with Joe. I am out at the park today, Julius Kleiner. See my little tag along the bottom? Please donate to my campaign. I am running for Congress, Idaho's 1st Congressional District. Yes. Please like, share, comment. Let the world know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're thinking. And let's talk about America. Yeah, I am running for Idaho, so we definitely are concerned about what's happening here in Idaho. Some of the big things that we got going on right now, you've all seen it. The orange skies all over the West Coast right now. I-5 corridor is in flames. We got bridges all across Pacific Northwest and Southern California and California that, you drive into hellscapes. Literally, the sky, the dust, we got so much flame going on that cities are literally orange after nightfall. How do we fix that? We got issues right now, especially with regards to organizations that have set up these policies all across the United States with regards to preservation, conservation, environmentalism, and how we handle national lands. Now, when it comes to national lands, we got a couple different categories across the United States. We have national parks. We have Bureau of Land Management land. All of these different ways that National Wildlife Association, different organizations have helped break up, land across the United States in different ways. Now, some of these regulations go way back. And I really do talk way back, 40, 50, 60 years as far as regulations go. Well, even before that. Reason why is because in order for a lot of the Western states to become states, the federal government actually withheld a significant portion of the land. Said, okay, you can become a state, but in the interest of conservation, we want to be able to preserve a certain amount of the land within the state as a national strategic resource. Whatever that happened to be. A lot of land grants were granted in relationship to railroad companies. 100 mile by 100 mile, little checkerboard pattern all across the areas where the railroads were set up, where basically railroad companies had free rights to logging access, wilderness, wildlife, all of that. They go in, do a slash and burn. It'd literally be checkerboard patterns every place that the railroads cut through forested areas like the Pacific Northwest. So here we are. We're in a situation. It's 2020, 40 years of environmental policy, largely based on bad science from the 1970s. We've since figured out that the science that we based those policies on was bad. Unfortunately, we're figuring that out in an extremely painful way. However, we have deadlock in Congress right now that's preventing us from actually being able to manage those lands effectively, efficiently. So, how do we go about fixing that? Especially when you're dealing with situations like right now. We have an extremely massive redistribution of wealth in the United States. We have companies, we have organizations that have literally been granted these huge gifts of wealth. Hey, how you doing, Lord? Welcome to the show. So one of the things an awful lot of people like to talk about, particularly from the libertarian perspective, is, well, why does the government own land? What can we do about this situation with the land so that we can once again, create wealth from the land rather than just continue to manage it poorly through 40 years of bad environmental policy that we just keep doubling down on. In fact, I was just listening to Spike Cohen's interview with libertarian candidates. One of the things he actually put forward was the idea of auction it off. Okay. I'm not a real big fan of that. Reason why is because if we're just going to auction it off, we are literally selling some of our most valuable resources to people who just were handed a significant amount of free wealth through the latest series of boondoggles conducted by the Republican and Democrat relief packages for COVID 2020. So how do we do this in a fair way, in an efficient way that gives people the land to create and produce, while denying these corporate land grabbers? I mean, because that's what's going on right now. BlackRock, real bad situation with them. They're in the process of consolidating housing across the United States. They go in, they buy up apartment complexes, they buy up foreclosures in bulk from banks, this BlackRock company, and they got an awful lot of funding, a lot of money coming in from questionable locations. Of course, I don't know how much of it's private company versus public, with its own public offers and issues along those lines. But BlackRock, housing consolidation all across the United States. If we were to all of a sudden just decide, let's go ahead and auction off all of the public lands in the Pacific Northwest to pay our bills, you know who's buying it? Yeah, all of those companies that were just handed a bunch of free money by Congress. Do we believe in privatization of the land? Yes and no. Idaho. Awful lot of people in Idaho were farmers or hunters. We still hunt. We still like to be able to go out and get access to our public lands. We figured out what a boondoggle that was with the Wilkes brothers here not that long ago, when Georgia Pacific gave Idaho the opportunity to buy up a significant amount of forest land for pennies on the dollar. And they're basically gifting it to us, and said, "Here, it's yours. It's yours." Well, our Idaho legislature decided to buy a much more expensive and smaller piece of land than the grant that Georgia Pacific was essentially giving them. So Georgia Pacific sold it to the Wilkes brothers. Well, a lot of that land, because it was previously owned, had right-of-ways, easements that allowed access into public lands on the interior. The Wilkes brothers went in and gated off. We lost access to hunting grounds, to recreational areas. A lot of our independent ecotourists or ecotourism organizations, mountain backpackers, things like that, they lost access to what was previously public lands. They used to, outfitters would go in, people would pay them to take them back into backcountry tours. They'd handle things, do the little ecotourism bit, show people nice hot springs, take them hunting, pack them back out. We lost access to that. So when it comes to Pacific Northwest and Idahoans wanting to go, we still need to keep those in the commons in some way. So how do we do that? How do we create a situation where we have a land grant? Because actually right now, Idaho does have a significant number of land grants all across the state. I mean, these are grants that were gifted from private landowners to the state to be managed on behalf of the public in perpetuity. And some of those haven't exactly been managed well or managed at all, even for the first 5 years. Matter of fact, some of our legislators right now are in the process of trying to work land deals, land grants, pull a little switcheroo, and like land that was granted public domain, it was a land grant, it was a gift to be managed by the state in the border areas to preserve natural features to the north of Idaho, our foothills, some of those locations, for trails and parks and similar things. And we actually have people who are right now trying to negotiate land trades so that some of those areas that were grants can now be sold to developers. Yeah. A lot of questionable issues about that. So definitely one of those big things we do have to worry about when it comes time to how do we either ensure that an organization like Bureau of Land Management is indeed managing the land on behalf of the people the way they were paid to, the way they were instructed to, because that's what it is. Bureau of Land Management, it is managing our collective lands for us. It's something we agreed to at one point. Should it be a government organization? There we go. Let's talk about that. The Bureau of Land Management were to become its own private organization for managing the commons. And it was in some way subsidized by those people who regularly use the commons, such as an organization that could go in and manage it, take care of it properly. Sierra Club. Not necessarily the Sierra Club specifically. Yes, Lord Bagel, I am an American. I am an Idahoan. You're following me on Twitch. Nice. Yeah, this is American. This is American political talking. So let's go ahead. This one's particularly fun here in Idaho. Gets confusing these days, especially with everything else going on in life. Reason why is because we are talking BLM. Bureau of Land Management, BLM, not Black Lives Matter, BLM. We got those issues too, but Bureau of Land Management. So one of the things that we're looking at with regards to Bureau of Land Management is the way it handles the land. Okay, it's done an extremely bad job. There's some other incidences that have gone on over the past couple of years. PG&E down in California burned up an awful lot of public land, burned down some communities that were up in the mountains as a result of combined mismanagement between PG&E and the way they handle their equipment, as well as the Bureau of Land Management and the way that they handle the forests and the public lands. Continue to see problems with that. Right now, there are claims that there are arsonists running all up and down the I-5 corridor, lighting public lands on fire. People have actually been caught and arrested, said they would do it again, that they've been doing it, that they will do it again. Yeah, Lord Bagel. Probably not going to get into that one this episode, especially considering I only got 30 minutes. But yes, I do cover that in a couple of my previous episodes. We'll probably cover it again here in the very near future. The Bureau of Land Management. Let's get back to that. One of the things that we deal with is, again, forest management. Somebody has actually gone in and taken a look at where the fires are, where they are burning right now. And it's ironic that the fires are respecting international borders. They're not burning in Mexico. They're not burning in Canada. The entire Pacific Northwest is on fire. Yet we do not have significant tracts of land in Canada that are currently burning. Why? Because environmental management in the United States sucks. Canada's got us beat. You actually go up, you take a look at the difference between what's going on. You know what? Let's go ahead and cover that. Give me a moment, Wilhelm. Let me wrap up this issue with the Bureau of Land Management and our environmental quality. Okay, we continue to punish and abuse things that are going on in the system. 40 years policy, bad environmental policy, we continue to double down on, and it's burning. Canada, they figured out their environmental policy. Their forests aren't burning. Their rainforest in the Pacific Northwest in Cascadia is not burning. America is burning. It's one of the things we need to get in. We need to fix those situations across in our environmental policies, fix them so the Bureau of Land Management actually manages the land effectively. The people are cooperating. We have those agreements with the stakeholders between individuals like the Sierra Club, the hunters, those people, ranchers who continue to use BLM land and pay for the use of the land for grazing rights. Our national forests are burning right now because we have overhunted an awful lot of our megafauna, like our elk and our deer, that would normally go in and clean out the underbrush in those areas. So that continues to create fires. So, absolutely, Bureau of Land Management, we need to fix it. Question is how? Do we privatize it? Do we create nonprofit organizations that manage the common grounds rather than having a government organization that does it? Is there a way to work that so that we have stakeholders that are part of the management process to make sure it's working for everybody? Huge thought process, something I got some ideas, but I'm not exactly an expert in. So, moving on. Wilhelm and Lord Bagel. Let's go ahead and discuss this. Do I believe this is happening? I believe it has happened. Do I believe that is the standard practice of the bulk of Americans that have gone into Afghanistan, Iraq, Yemen, and other locations? No, I do not. As a veteran of Afghanistan, as a veteran of Iraq, as a veteran of the Philippines, I know that yes, this does happen. It is extremely sad. And I do not believe the United States military properly prosecutes those people who are involved in commission of those war crimes. Wilhelm, do I agree America commits genocide and war crimes? I do not believe, oh God, this is a tough one. Reason why is because I do not believe America as a collective commits to genocide and war crimes. However, we do have politicians and we do have individuals within the chain of command who have. And it is one of our failures as Americans to prosecute those individuals who have committed those war crimes, who have facilitated genocide around the world. One of the problems that we can continuously deal with right now is the war in Yemen. Our support of Saudi Arabia against the Yemeni is indeed a genocide. Our continued support of other organizations, of other nations in what's going on. The United States has troops, has support, has counterinsurgency experts, in a significant number of countries in Africa right now, and literally 150 of the 192 countries in the world right now. We have troops in some capacity. Oh, yes, absolutely. Especially considering that we do have soldiers, service members, airmen, Marines, sailors, soldiers, service members all across the United States or all around the world. Like I stated, 150 nations. We do not screen them nearly well enough. Matter of fact, during the troop surge during Iraq and Afghanistan, we increased a significant number of our morale waivers in order to recruit people into the service. The irony of that is the morale waivers that we created the most of were around sex crimes. People who had been guilty of domestic violence or certain minor sex-based offenses, were granted waivers and allowed to get in. As a result, the increase in military sexual trauma, inter-service rapes increased significantly following, I think it was around the 2007 troop surge. We continue to have that problem because some of those records were expunged when they were a civilian, and despite the claims of the United States military to go in and clean up that mistake in recruiting, they haven't done it. We continue to see problems right now in Fort Hood, Texas, with regards to the way military sexual trauma is handled. We have people who have reported it that are showing up dead. Still have military investigations that are claiming it was suicide, despite the fact that, you know, it's pretty damn tough to suicide with 2 bullets to the back of the head. Yeah. Don't know who your family is, Lord Bagel. Don't know. Sorry. Won't be able to send that message to him directly. Keep it up. Let's go ahead and switch this out, especially since we're talking about war. War. What is it good for? I think we all know what it's good for. Absolutely nothing. It's one of those things right now. The Libertarian Party, myself as a candidate for 1st Congressional District of the state of Idaho, are avid peace advocates. We are the only party right now actively engaged in trying to bring our troops home. Our candidates are peace activists. They go out, they do demonstrations, they write emails, they protest. And that was even before, some of us decided to pick up and run for office. I'm one of my situations, I'm running against an individual who has continually supported and voted for continuing the wars in Afghanistan, Yemen, etc. Natalie Fleming, she's an independent running for the Senate seat. She's running against Jim Risch with Paulette Jordan. Both of them are very much peace advocates. Natalie Fleming, 100% peace advocate. Independent running for Senate. Do I believe in female soldiers? Yes, I do. I believe our female service members are every bit as capable as our male service members when it comes to making sure the mission is accomplished, when we need to make sure that things get done exactly the way it's supposed to. Yeah, that's a good one. Love the quote, Lord Bagel. Won't actually pull it up on the screen because it'll blank my face out. But no, war, what is it good for? He's actually quoted the song. Look it up sometime. If you're a peace activist, you already know the song intimately. Another one. No, Lord, I don't believe in the Old Testament. I'm very much a New Testament kind of guy myself, but no, I am not a Christian either. Reason why is because I believe in Buddha. I believe in the greater thing. I believe in that personal connection to God, however you define that. I believe Jesus found that personal connection to God. I believe Muhammad at one point had that personal connection. You really have to find your own personal path to enlightenment. So yeah, Wilhelm, probably can't call me a Christian. Larry, I wish that was the truth. Honest to God, do. Is Trump stopping all the Middle East? Is starting to talk and be friends? Okay, I actually sat down, listened to Adam Kokesh today. Okay, for those of you who don't know Adam Kokesh, he's a Marine. He was in Baghdad 2004. He was part of one of the major conflicts in 2004. Went in with the Marines, helped bring some people out. He was talking about Trump today. Justin Amash continues to tweet about issues with regards to Trump and what's going on with him. You know, we keep talking about Trump's bringing the troops home. Trump's bringing the troops home. For some reason, the count of troops in Afghanistan and Iraq is still exactly the same it was the day he took office. You know, so 3.5 years later, he's made no significant improvements. Europe, he hasn't brought home any troops from Europe. He's taken a few out of Germany, but he just shuffled them around Europe. He moved a few to Poland. Matter of fact, he changed 5th Corps headquarters from Germany to Poland, moving it that much closer into conflict with what we got going on. You know what, Lord Bagel, this, I'm not even going to humor it. It's bullshit. Women can do the job. And in a lot of ways, they're actually better at doing the job than the men are. Yeah, Wilhelm, if they get captured, they can resist it just as well as the men can. Men get raped too. Sorry. Hate to break that to you. Matter of fact, right now, military sexual trauma in the United States, it is underreported upon them, among the male service members. Yes, they get raped. They don't report it. They blow their brains out because of it. Happens. Military sexual trauma, it is not a female-only problem in the United States military. So as far as getting captured, doesn't make any difference, man. Doesn't make any difference. Women do the job as well as, if not better than men, 90% of the time. Don't understand why some people got an issue with that. But yeah, Larry, absolutely. Trump's not doing it. He's not stopping it. Matter of fact, Adam was talking about 5 of the bills, five bills that President Trump vetoed. He broke out his veto pen for. 5 of the 8 that he has vetoed in the last 3.5 years had to deal with weapon deals for United Arab Emirates, withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan and Iraq, weapons deals with Saudi Arabia. Trump can talk as much as he likes about pulling out the troops, is trying to create peace. He's just another warmonger. He's just another warmonger. Don't know why this is a particular question that is always asked of veterans. No, Wilhelm. I never personally pulled the trigger on an individual. Unfortunately, I am part of a team. So I do bear a certain amount of responsibility for mistakes that were made while I was in country. I'm going to leave that at that. Yeah. So, but yeah, Larry, no, I'm not going to give Trump a pass. I'm not going to give his populist rhetoric a pass, because 3.5 years, he still hasn't accomplished what he's promised he would. We still have troops in Afghanistan. We still have troops in Iraq. We still have troops getting killed in both locations. We still have a record number of drone strikes occurring in both countries, as well as 5 others that were started while under Obama. Trump continues to have a higher strike count in the 3.5 years he's been in than Obama did during his 8. Also, Trump was the only one to set out and deploy a Moab, mother of all bombs. He's the first president to have deployed a high-capacity, non-nuclear airburst bomb, in Afghanistan. Trump is not a peace advocate. He's not an advocate for peace. He's continued to accelerate the wars around the world. I am a libertarian, Wilhelm. I am a libertarian candidate. So it's been 30 minutes, guys. That's my Ask Me Anything for today. And my covering of topics, we covered two today. We covered Bureau of Land Management, environmental quality issues. We've also covered war and what is it good for. Depending on which topic you're really interested in, go ahead and roll on back. Somewhere around 15 minutes into this is where I did the switch over. Thank you again, Wilhelm and Lord Bagel, for your questions. Larry, your questions too. Really do appreciate the feedback and the interest. I know we don't necessarily agree on an awful lot of things, but that's what this sort of forum is about. So contribute to my campaign, like, share. Yes, like, share, comment. Let me know what it is you're thinking about. Let me know what's important to you. You can go ahead and look at these over the next couple of days. Look me up. You see in the header, I got Twitch, I got Facebook, I got YouTube. Thanks, John. Love you, man. Love you. Absolutely. Donate to the campaign. Like, share, let your friends know what I think. Let them know whether or not you agree with me or disagree with me. Let's talk about other issues next time, okay? Go ahead, shoot me a DM sometime. Let me go ahead and pull it up, get it ready to go for the next conversation. Right now I don't really have anything firm set in as far as what I'm going to talk about from one session to the next, but absolutely. Let me know the things that are important to you. It's all right, Lord. I got you, man. So nobody has to pull the trigger, Lord. Let's hope nobody has to pull the trigger. Peace, guys. Family, friends, community. So the three things keeping us together, folks. Love you. See you tomorrow.